So what if I told you that one of the most powerful secret societies in history was actually more like a short-lived book club? Well, today we're going to unravel a 250-year-old myth about power, royalty, and the Illuminati that has, let's be honest, captured our imaginations for centuries. All right, first, let's dive into the blockbuster version of the story. You know, the one you've probably seen all over the internet. It's this gripping tale of hidden power and absolute global control. The core of the whole myth is this. There's a hidden society of elites, a group we all know as the Illuminati, and they're the secret puppet masters, running the entire world from behind the curtain. Now, according to the legend, this group isn't just, influential. No, they supposedly manipulate governments, they trigger financial market crashes, and they orchestrate major world events. They're pulling every single string of power from the shadows. And this is where the royals come in. The theory claims they aren't just figureheads in fancy clothes. Oh no, they're key members of this cabal, and they're allegedly using secret symbols to communicate their influence right out in the open. I mean, it's a fantastic story, right? But is any of it true? What happens when we stop speculating and actually look at the historical records? Well, the answer is kind of shocking. Okay, so let's switch gears and turn to the facts. Who were the Bavarian Illuminati, really? Let's see what the documents they left behind actually tell us. So, here's the first surprising fact. The real Illuminati, they only existed for 9 years. That's it, a total flash in the pan, not some eternal shadow government. And this timeline just shows how incredibly brief their existence was. They were founded in 1776, and by 1787, poof, they were completely gone. That's a huge contrast to the myth of some ancient, all-powerful organization, isn't it? And their structure? It was way more like a university club or maybe a philosophical fraternity than some all-powerful network controlling kings and queens. It was hierarchical, for sure, but it was focused on education and debate. So what does the evidence in the archives actually say? Let's start peeling back the layers because this is where the whole myth really starts to fall apart. So the myth claims it was packed with European royalty, but when historians dug into the actual membership lists, they found something completely different. We're not talking kings and queens, we're talking about 2,500 professors, doctors, and writers. And what about their big secret plan for world domination? Well, their private letters and papers show they were really just passionate about philosophy and reason, classic Enlightenment ideas. Their goal was to spark a revolution of the mind, not to rule the world. And here's the real kicker. After centuries of people, historians, researchers, enthusiasts searching for it, not one single primary source document has ever been found that supports the conspiracy theory. Zero. Zilch. Nada. So you gotta ask, right? If the evidence just isn't there, why is the story so incredibly compelling? Well, the answer has less to do with history and a lot more to do with our own psychology. As scholars like Dr. Michael Barkin explain, these theories give us simple, satisfying answers in a world that often feels chaotic and confusing. I mean, it can almost feel comforting to believe someone is in control, even if it's some malevolent secret society. This leads to what's called unfalsifiability, and it's basically a perfect logical trap. Think about it. Any lack of evidence for the conspiracy is just taken as proof of how deep the cover-up goes. It becomes a belief system that you literally can't disprove with facts. And our own minds are totally wired for this stuff. We have this powerful need to see patterns, a deep desire to feel in control, and a need to belong to a group that has some kind of special knowledge. All of this makes us vulnerable to these compelling, but ultimately untrue stories. So how can you spot the difference between a real conspiracy and just a powerful myth? Let's equip you with a quick toolkit for thinking critically. So here's a simple little framework for the next time you see some wild claim online. First, hunt for primary sources. Don't just trust a blog post. Second, check what actual experts say about it. Third, ask yourself, is there a simpler explanation? And finally, ask if the claim can even be proven false. If the answer is no, it's probably not based on evidence. And this is absolutely crucial to get. It's so important to distinguish between these two things. Yes, powerful people and powerful groups exist, and they totally network to maintain their influence. That's just politics. But that is a world away from a fictional, ancient, secret society. Look, Myths are powerful, but the truth is where the real power lies. Understanding how our world actually works, through economics, politics, and real-world networks, it's way more complex, but ultimately, it's so much more fascinating than any conspiracy theory. The truth isn't a secret, it's just waiting in the archives.